everybody. Thank you for opening this video. I'm going to go through your math lesson for today. Quickly, let's go through these slides. I am super cold in my sunroom right now, so looking at this makes me even colder. Looks like I got to change the date there. It is actually January 21st. Email or leave a comment if you have any questions about your assignments. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I'm not going to be on my computer to be on ClassWise, but I will know what you are doing based on whether or not you get your assignments done. And just a heads up, you're in your chair, no working around the room today. You're focused on your own work. You're doing your best. Don't be afraid to make a mistake in your learning. And the agenda can be found in the stream. If you're on this, you already found the agenda. And going back to what I was saying before, what's the natural consequence for not completing your assignments today? You will be making up your assignments in working recess. I have not had a ton of that this year, so please make sure to keep up the good work. All right, here's today's agenda. Today we are looking at 5.6, using area models to multiply decimals, multiplying with area models. So today's learning target, read this with me while I read it. I can use area models to represent and calculate products of decimals. We are working toward just multiplying decimals with the traditional algorithm. Patty. Sorry. I love the area model. I think the area model helps you to really visualize what you're doing very well. You don't have to stick with the area model, but the area model is a fantastic strategy to use for today. All right, there I am in the bottom right. So I will be with you almost like IRL while we're doing the math lesson. So I am going to walk you through the Desmos lesson for today. So here I am on slide 1. What do you notice and wonder? Diego likes using area models to multiply whole numbers. Drag the point to split the 24 by 13 rectangle in different ways. What do you notice and wonder? So go ahead and pause your video and just jot down a couple things in the notice and wonder column. Sentences. So when you notice and wonder, when I notice this, when I move this, hopefully you did that as well. If you haven't, pause the video again and move it around. When you move this around, you'll notice that we'll call these factors up here, they move when you move this little dot around. If the factors are changing, you'll also notice that the products are changing. 8 times 5 is 40, but if I move that, 14 times 4 is 56, and all the other ones will change as well. You'll notice there's different colors. You'll notice that the different size boxes. You'll notice that you can get it to 12 times 12. Good. Hopefully you have something different. Maybe you have something that I said. Otherwise, hopefully you were doing some good thinking. I wonder, why are we going to use this? Why do we use the area model sometimes to do multiplication? Let's get into today's lesson. Here's a new area model. Use it to multiply 23 times 16. Drag the points if it helps you with your thinking. So you'll notice that when you use the area model, you have the two factors on the outside. We'll call this 23 up here, 23 times 16. I always like to work with nice and easy round numbers. So I'm going to make this 10. I'm going to make this 10. So I'm working with 100, 130, and 60 and 78. When you use the area model, we're going to call these partial products as well, because these are products and they are part of the whole. So we'll call this partial products. Go ahead and type that in here so you know what I'm saying. You don't have to write this, but I just wanted you to hear what I was saying. Partial products with the area model. 100 plus 130 is 230. 230 plus 60 is 290. 290 plus 78 is 368. You will need to show your work today. I gave you a little break to start there. So do the splits. What do you notice about these two? You may notice that Myra, she did not use those nice round numbers. She chose her own combination of products. Notice how it's really doesn't matter what your answer is, because you will get the same answer as long as your factors on the side add up to the correct number. So 12 and 4 make 16, 10 and 6 make 16, 12 and 11 make 23, 20 and 3 make 23. So today we're going to use the area model to solve some multiplication. Particular products. Diego wonders if the area models could also help to multiply decimals like 2 and 3/10 times 1 and 6/10. Of course, Diego. Show how you would split the rectangle into smaller parts to multiply 2 and 3/10 times 1 and 6/10. Explain why I split it that way. Go and take a minute and see how you would divide this. Pause the video, and then I'll come back and show you how I would. So hopefully you've unpaused by now. Obviously you have if I'm talking again. So like I did before, I want to work with friendly numbers. I noticed that there's 1 and 2. Those are my whole numbers here. So I'm going to use that as my guide when I'm creating my area model. I just find that easier to work with. So I have 1 and 2, 6/10 and 3/10, 2 and 3/10 times 1 and 6/10. Explain why I split it this way. I split it this way. It's easier to work with friendly. So now we can go ahead and solve this. I have 2 plus 3/10 plus 1 and 2/10 plus 1800ths. Go ahead and solve that on your own. You can pull out your whiteboard. I'm not going to give you the answer this time, but that is how you would solve it. You would add all 4 boxes inside of your area model to find the product of 2 and 3/10 times 1 and 6/10. Hopefully you're getting the gist of this. If you find at some point that you are good to go, you feel pretty confident, you can pause this and just scroll through and check your answers. But if you're not quite sure yet, then stick with me. Here we are on slide 6. Again, I'm going to work with some friendly numbers here. I notice we're doing 4 and 5/10 times 2 and 9/10. So I'm going to multiply 2. I'm going to use the factors 2 and 4. To me, those are easy to work with. So the blue box is going to be 8. 2 times 4 is 8. I love how it does this. 2 times 5/10. 2 times a half is 1 whole. 9/10 times 4 is 3 and 6/10. And finally, 9/10 times 5/10 is 45/100. Just like we did before, we're going to add up all 4 of those boxes. Hopefully I did that correctly. Looks like it so far. All right, just like we did before, go ahead and add up to find the area. Actually, don't do that because we're not there quite yet. Can you find the mistake that Diego made while multiplying 4 and 5/10 times 2 and 9/10? Go ahead and pause the video. Did you find the mistake? Hopefully you pause the video to find the mistake. And what would you say to help him understand his mistake? So when I pause the video, I notice that 4 times 9/10 is not 36/100. It is 3 and 6/10. That's going to give you a totally different answer. The rest look correct to me. Otherwise, he would get the right answer. He just needs to change 4 times 9/10 to 3 and 6/10. All right. Again, if you feel like you're pretty confident and you know how to do this on your own, pause your video and then check your answer with me. If you still want to do it with me, I'm going to go ahead and do this with you again. So notice here we have a sketch tool. We're actually going to draw in and create our area model. So I'll go ahead and label and do this with you. So 3 and 4/10 times 2 and 8/10. I'm going to go ahead and draw this area model. When I do this, on paper, I just divide them evenly. It's just easier for me. I'm not getting the beautiful visual that's like perfectly split, but it's okay. I'm going to start with 3 4/10. It's important that we use that decimal times 2 8/10. Obviously, we know that 2 is much bigger than 8/10 and 3 is much bigger than 4/10, but for now, we are just going to keep them the same size. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 4/10 is, go ahead and plug it in, 8/10. 8/10 times 3 is 2 4/10. 8/10 times 4/10 is 32 hundredths. So what you would do is go ahead and add those 4 up, pull out your whiteboard, add up 6 plus 8/10 plus 2 4/10 times 32 hundredths, and check your work here. Next, we're going to do 5 2/10 times 42 hundredths. You'll notice all right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. I actually don't love how, there we go. I'll just go ahead and explain. When I looked at this, it's very hard since I'm not there. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, this is an extremely small area model, and it's too small to work with. So I'm going to go ahead and move to this box and just explain to you. The second draft is what I would actually use to solve this. Notice how when solving 5 2/10 times 42 hundredths, you split up 5 2/10 just like we've been doing, and 4/10 and 2 hundredths are labeled on the left side. 4/10 and 2 hundredths are labeled on the left side. It's not 4 and it's not 2/10. We need to look at the place value. So we have 4/10 here as well as 2 hundredths. All right, we'll go ahead and do one more together, the lesson synthesis. If you feel totally confident, go ahead and move to the exit ticket in your practice. Otherwise, we'll do this one together. 2 7/10. I'm going to go ahead and split this up. Go ahead and label my sides here. So we have 2 7/10, followed by 1 4/10. Go ahead and solve for each of the partial products. 2 times 1 is 2. 1 times 7/10 is 7/10. Nice and easy to work with there. 2 4/10 is 8/10. And 4/10 times 7/10 is 28 hundredths. Go ahead and add those up, and you will get your product. When I look at this, I get 3.5, 3.78, 3 78 hundredths. That should be your final answer. Okay, so we'll go ahead and look at the agenda real quick. I'm going to go through some of these problems. If you feel like you're pretty confident, the practice problems are very similar to what we just did. The agenda has a couple IXL skills that look a little different, but they're not when you look at these closely. So 5/10 times 9 2/10. We're just going to go ahead and plug in our partial products. 9 times 5 is 45. We'll go ahead and move that decimal over one place value, 4 5/10. 5/10 times 2 is, let's see, 1 1/10. 1/10. There we go. So when we add these together, we get 4 6/10. Fantastic. We'll do one more together. 7 times 100th is 700. What is 100th times 3/10? Think to yourself, plug it in, see if you're right, pause the video. You should get 3,000. So 700ths plus 3,000 should give you 73 thousandths. You got it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and look at the other skill here. Go ahead and open that up. This will be the 4 box area model, just like we did in our lesson. 36 times 6 and 4/10. 30 times 6 is 180. 30 times 4/10 should give you 3 times 4 is 12. There we go, 12, that's the answer. 6 times 6 is 36. And then 6 times 4/10. 6 times 4 is 24. Move over the decimal once, 2 and 4/10. So go ahead and add these up. 180 plus 12 is 192. 192 plus 36 is 228. 230 and 4/10. I did that very quickly. Hopefully I didn't make any mistakes. 230 and 4/10. And I got that. Oh, that was really fast. I was nervous. All right, same thing here. This is just like we did in our lesson. I have been talking for a very long time now, so hopefully you are able to take this and you can show me that you know how to multiply decimals using the area model. It's really important that you have your whiteboard out for today's lesson. Really important that you have that. So good work, and I will see you when I come back to class. If you have any questions, please tell me on Google Classroom. If you need to rewatch part of the video, go back and rewatch part of it. Watch my thought process of the while I'm going through the area model. Otherwise, good luck. You got this. I'll see you soon.